works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Rocket 1025.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Ample sunshine expected today with daytime highs approaching 85. Winds out of the northwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 43 tonight, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 71 tomorrow, bright sunshine. Ample sunshine expected Wednesday with daytime highs approaching 92, 82 Thursday. Looking further out, 77 Friday, 85 Saturday, and 82 on Sunday. Another look at the short range. We should top off around 85 today. Lows level off around 43 tonight. Highs reach 71 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently, it's 58 degrees.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 844-53-BIBLE. That's 844-53-BIBLE. 844-53-BIBLE.
Goodland's Rocket 1025 is your home for Goodland High School athletics. From touchdowns and three-pointers to home runs, Ross Volkmer has you covered with all the action. Join him for live broadcast on Goodland's Rocket 1025, your front row seat to the Cowboys and Cowgirls. Select games video streamed on the Goodland Voice. GHS athletics this season are made possible in part by
Farm Credit of Western Kansas, Miller Construction, S&M Recovery and Towing, Land to Legacy Real Estate, and Cornerstone Orthodontics.
Hola, soy Marie en el FNB Bank. Allí ofrecemos diferentes cuentas de depósito que les puede ayudar a lograr sus goles financieros, ya sea de cuentas de cheques o de ahorros, a cuentas de cheques para negocios o una variedad de opciones de CDs. Estamos aquí para ayudarlo. Puede parar a nuestro banco que está al este del correo en Goodland o puede hablarnos a 785-890-2000 para trabajar conmigo o con algún otro miembro de FNB Bank.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
This is Lincoln Kira, senior at Goodland Junior Senior High School. Join the Black and Gold Booster Club as we rally together to support our student athletes, band members, and all of our amazing extracurricular programs. The Booster Club would like to remind everyone that homecoming week will be here before you know it, and we are so excited to welcome back the class of 1974 to join in the festivities. Buy some mums, eat some chili, join in the parade, and we'll see you at the football game on October 4th as we take on the Ulysses Tigers.
They're having one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. That's right, a hail sale where you can get massive savings on a new vehicle. For example, get a 23 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $20,000 off when you trade in eligible vehicle, now just over $37,000. A new 24 Chevy Tahoe RST, $13,000 off, now just over $59K. Plus 24 Chevy Traverse RS, $10,000 off, now just over $45,000. Plus many more. It's one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery, ingestion, and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
Listen up, you World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam War veterans. This is your DI from Kansas Honor Flight. I want you to get up off your duff and get your veteran application submitted to us for a fabulous, free 3-day trip to Washington, D.C. to visit your memorials. You're not getting any younger. You did not have to be in country. You were serving our great nation. Go to kansashonorflight.org or call 620-546-2400.
Hello, this is Dr. Travis Days, Physician and Chief Medical Officer at Goodland Regional Medical Center. Our respiratory therapy department provides a comprehensive range of services. We offer aerosol therapy, medical gas therapy, lung expansion, and airway adjunct therapies. Our skilled therapists also conduct pulmonary function testing, exercise, and overnight oximetry testing. Our certified asthma educators also provide essential asthma education for adults and pediatric patients. To schedule an appointment, call 785-890-3625.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5. Simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
Showtime for the Lady Eagles.
To the pros.
McKinnon is in at running back. First down and goal to go. Play action fake. Right side throw. Touchdown. Kansas City.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Sprint out near side, throw right in the hole. Hits Jackson Miller. Miller bouncing it far side. Miller's going to have a race to the pylon. The 10, the 5, and he is in. Touchdown, Goodland.
Hands it off here to Giddens. Giddens, big hole. 40, 45, 50. Far side 40, 30. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Wildcat touchdown. Are you kidding? What a dagger.
Gunning it long. Coming down the near side. The pass is caught. Touchdown! Kansas City! A long bomb. And the Chiefs finally get there. A 54-yard bomb to Xavier Worthy.
Shadour's out of the shotgun, takes a snap, drops, scans, looking, rears back, going for the home run. Will Shepherd is out there, dives into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado!
Shotgun snap, 4-man rush, throws back to the end zone. Sutton's there, makes the catch. Touchdown, Denver.
And good Monday morning, everybody. Glad you're back with us here to start another week on the Morning Blitz. Broadcasting, as always, on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, as well as simulcasting on AM 730 Gold, KLOE. 1 day left to go in September before we have reached the month of October. The weather would certainly not tell us that we are getting into fall weather. Another week expected to be temperatures anywhere. I did see, I think one day, I think it's Wednesday, I think 72 degrees, but there's a 93-degree day in there as well. Mother Nature doesn't want to make up her mind on what it's going to be. It's a cool start here this morning, 58, 59 degrees, no wind, but plenty of sun expected for today and for this week, and lots of plenty of warm temperatures. Temps going to be mostly averaging around in the 80s here as we get into the first week of October. As always, the FB Bank text line is open. The number 785-899-2222. That's going to be part of the Morning Blitz each and every day. And also, of course, you can chime in through the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We appreciate you tuning in no matter which way you are doing so. It's a Monday, and it is a full show ahead, as we usually do. We will get to the leftovers and whatever we miss throughout the first two segments. Nick Athen is going to stop by as well in his usual slot from Chiefs Blitz and talk to us about week number 4 in the NFL football season. Boy, things are looking a little interesting for the Kansas City Chiefs here early on in this season with possibly a bad injury to Rashee Rice that's going to put him out for the rest of the year. At least those are the rumors. And the wide receiver room was already kind of thin with Hollywood Brown being out and now Rashee Rice possibly being out. Now it's super thin. And so we will discuss that all coming up here with Nick Catherine and also more NFL and other storylines too as we get in here to this Monday program. But of course, it is Monday, which means weekend winners and losers time.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners.
Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
Gonna be a winner, be a winner.
As always, your own personal weekend winners and losers. Chime in. Would love to hear them from you. The FB Bank text line, 785-899-2222. A few winners here this weekend. First and foremost, I want to start with Colby High School football. The Colby Eagles off to a 4-0 start for the first time since 2020. A very nice win on the road in Hugoton. 21-17, the final score. Look, this is just one of those. It's a great story, first and foremost, for head coach Ryan Mosier. You know, it's only his second season as the head coach. He has a really good senior class that he's worked with for a while, kind of bringing them up, and you're seeing kind of the fruits of that labor come to fruition at this point in time. And Colby with a really nice win. I mean, first and foremost, you have a long road trip down to Hugon, 3+ hours to get down to Hugoton to play a football game. It's a long ways to ride a bus. How do you manage that long bus trip? Because you got you want to get some sleep, but you want to be fully awake when you get there and your mind right. But to pick up a nice win on the road at Hugoton, who's a very good program, mind you, I know they graduate a lot of seniors. I understand that, and they're kind of starting over a little bit, but that's still a good program. And they run some, at least last year they run lots of versions of the triple option, which can be hard to defend if you're not a team that runs it all the time. And so that was a very, very nice win for Colby on the road to pick up a 4-point victory in Hugoton on Friday night to get to 4-0 for the first time since 2020. Now they're going to have a much stiffer test coming up here on Friday for homecoming as they welcome in Holcomb. That will be an even tougher test. But Colby so far through 4 games I talked about it on Friday. It was a prove it kind of Friday. You were 3-0 and that's all great and dandy. Now go out there and show us that you can win a game in your own district against a lot of teams that are kind of your same deal. And they did that. So feather in the cap to Colby football this morning. Head coach Ryan Mosier, a very nice win on the road down at Hugoton to get to 4-0 for the first time since 2020. Some other football from this past weekend. Oakley getting their first win of the season. I told you they were going to get a win against Syracuse. They shut them out 35-0. Plainsman ran all over the Bulldogs, 187 yards as a team and 5 touchdowns. Carson Beal accounted for 3 of those TDs for the Plainsmen. Decatur Community and St. Francis meeting up in what I thought was kind of the game of this past weekend. And it was Decatur Community getting the best of the Indians yet again. 32-14, the final score. The Red Devils running back Josiah Pattengall, who's been fantastic all year, ran for 210 and 3 scores for the Red Devils. Rollins County with a very nice win on the road at Hill City, 48-38. Ryan Schromick, I know we've talked about him many times on this show. You need to hear his name again. Ran for 316 yards in that win against Hill City and a season-high 5 touchdowns for Ryan Schromick. We are 4 games into the season for Rollins County, and Ryan Schromick has 917 rushing yards at this point in time and 13 touchdowns. That 917 yards, that leads the state of Kansas at this point in time and is 11th in the nation currently. Ryan Schromick having a great start to the 2024 football season as expected. He was, one of Kansas pregame's top players to watch, and he's having a great year. Once again, 316 yards and 8 touchdowns for Ryan Schromick in their 10-point win over Hill City. Hoxie, as expected, an easy win over Stockton, 53-0. The interesting story was freshman Noah Nicholson. He, playing a majority of snaps because of the blowout, had 163 yards and 3 touchdowns himself. Noah Nicholson with a phenomenal showing as number 1 Hoxie rolled easily over the Stockton Tigers. Greeley County with a 20-point win over Setanta, 34-14. Friday, Wallace County dropping their second straight game. They lost to a very good Dighton team, 60-14. Quinter on homecoming fell in a tight one to Ness City. It was a good game, but lost by 2, 44-42. Wheatland Grinnell still looking for that first win as they lose on Friday at Logan Palco. Close game, low scoring, 20-6, especially for 8-man football. Cheyenne ended a 2-game skid with a 32-14 win at Northern Valley to get back to 500 for the Cougars. And Golden Plains with an easy win over Tri-Plains Brewster, 68-6. Dylan Wark ran for 150 total yards. That was receiving and passing. Had over 150 total yards and 5 total touchdowns for Dylan Wark there on Friday. And Goodland, they lost on the road at Holcomb, 35-21. The Cowboys have now lost 13 straight to the Longhorns. Goodland could not run the football at all, nor really tried. I think they ran it 3 times in that loss. And part of that was who they were playing because of, the big 300-pounders that are in the middle defensively, and it's hard to move those guys. And Goodland hung around for a while. Let's face the facts. They were in it. It was 14-all in the second quarter. Special teams once again played a huge role. Chayton Goodwin with a long kickoff return for a touchdown, which was great. They were able to find, you heard the highlight there early to kick off the show. Jackson Miller able to make a catch and a run, 46 yards for a touchdown to tie the game up at 14. So Goodland was in it. It was just too much Corbin Johnson. Corbin Johnson for Holcomb is a stud. He really can do it all. He's a phenomenal defender, a great linebacker. Many coaches that I visited with say he's one of the best in the West and maybe even in the state is Corbin Johnson. But his running ability and catching ability was too much for Goodland to overcome. He had, I think, close to 180 yards and 3 touchdowns in that win against Goodland. But Holcomb just continues to be a little bit too much. But I give Goodland credit. I asked to see a 4-quarter game, and I believe for the most part they were in it there in the fourth quarter. They got a fourth quarter touchdown on a pass to Lincoln Cure to make it 35-21. But it wasn't a blowout. They were hanging in there. Holcomb is a very tough team to beat, very well coached. They do a great job. But Goodland was right there, I thought, with them, at least for a half of the contest. And then it wasn't like it was a complete blowout. Goodland just could not get anything going in the second half offensively. When you have a fumble surrounded by 2 3-and-out punts, that's difficult to overcome when the other team is going out there and scoring. And scoring in methodical ways. Holcomb had a lot of long, drawn-out drives that Goodland could not get them off the field, and they were just chewing up clock, shortening the game, and Cowboys fall to 2-2. But it's okay. If you're a Goodland fan or if you're a Goodland part of the program, you can't feel bad. Hey, you know what? We lost a game to a team that's probably going to get a couple of wins coming up here in the postseason, you would think. Going to get a couple rounds deep into the playoffs, as it's been said. My guess is we're going to probably see that. Don't feel bad about that. There are still chances to win games on the schedule. Regroup, get healthy, and be ready to go here Friday at home against Ulysses and get back in the win column and try to get some momentum going into a rivalry game against Colby. And then you've got, Hugoton and Scott City still. There's plenty of games left on the docket. No reason to get your daubers down. Just keep moving it and trying to go 1-0 each and every week. But there you go. Our high school football slate from this past Friday. There was really not much other local sports, to be honest with you, this past weekend after the high school football on Friday. Continue on weekend winners here on the Morning Blitz on this Monday, September the 30th. How could it not be the Kansas City Royals? They did it, folks. They did it. They went from a 100-loss team to making it into the postseason for the first time in almost 10 years. 2015 was the last time the Royals were in the postseason. They end up losing 2 of 3 to the Atlanta Braves, but the Royals didn't have to win because the Twins fell apart at the very end. The Twins fell apart, and so the Royals are in the postseason for the first time since 2015. They will be on the road in Baltimore starting tomorrow with a best-of-3 series to try to win the wild card and stay in the postseason are the Royals. But look, going from where they were to what they've been, it's a fantastic step in the right direction. Let's see here. People are chiming in on our text line here. Head coach of St. Francis, Coach Wigger's chiming in. Red zone, and Belichick special. St. Francis goes 2 of 6 in the red zone. Decatur Community goes 3 for 3. And he also got the Belichick special, score before the half, get the ball back and score again to kick off the second half. That is definitely a Belichick special. Jared chiming in on the FNB Bank text line, 785-899-2222. No, Jared, Colby will play Holcomb this upcoming weekend. They'll play Holcomb. Rockies. Yeah, should the Rockies take some notes? 101 losses, 100 losses. Yes, we'll get to that coming up in the leftovers here with the Rockies. Actually, we'll get to that here in losers, actually. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But nonetheless, the Royals in the postseason for the first time since 2015. We'll see how it goes against Baltimore. Kansas City has, like some teams have just not played great down the stretch. And this is the time where you want to kind of start putting it together. And so I don't know if that results in them putting it together right now and winning or just kind of falling apart. We're going to find out. But the Royals were able to get a win against the Braves 4-2 yesterday, and they are for sure in the postseason for the first time since 2015, unlike some other teams out there. And then my final winner of the weekend before we get to losers, I got to give a shout out to Kalen DeBoer, Alabama head football coach. That is a guy who has 12 total losses in his entire college football coaching career. That guy was at the University of Sioux Falls when I was in high school and early college. University of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's where he was, where he won, he was a graduate of there, became the head coach. He won multiple national titles at the Division III, and I don't know if he won one at the D2 level, but just had great success and worked his way up the chain, whether it was offensive coordinators or quarterbacks coaches with different programs, including Indiana and Fresno State, and then to Washington, and now to Alabama, the pinnacle of college football right now. And he just looks to be like the next great college football coach. Georgia comes into town, and that was, by the way, if you didn't watch the game in its entirety, I don't blame you. I didn't either. I turned it off. It was 30-3 at half. That game was over, and Georgia comes storming back. But Alabama finds a way to win at the end. And that was just a nuts game, a completely nuts game. If you didn't tune in for the final 3 minutes, I feel bad for you because that was something you just don't ever see. Back-to-back 70-plus yard passing plays to have the lead change hands twice. That's just bizarre. And once again, I give Kalen DeBoer a whole bunch of credit. He just looks to be like this next great coach. He's lost 12 games, and everywhere he's gone, he's won. And to me, that's always the sign of a good coach. If you have won at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, if you have won at Central Oklahoma, and this is just random stuff, if you have won at, Appalachian State, if you have won at Colorado, and if you have won at Alabama, or wherever else, you're going to win wherever you go. You have a formula, and it works. And that's why I think Kalen DeBoer is a winner of the weekend. That guy just wins no matter where he goes, including an unbelievable win on the road over there at at home. I beg your pardon, at home against Georgia. But nonetheless, doesn't matter where it was. That was a great game, especially late. Some other college football of this past weekend. Avery Johnson came alive on Saturday. 5 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing. I think that's the Avery Johnson that we all expected to see. A guy who's going out there and going to get it done with his arms, but then, of course, goes out there and scampers for, close to, I think, did he have 100 yards? Make sure if I wrote that down or not. I think he did. It was close if he didn't. No, just 60 yards rushing and 2 scores, but almost over 250 yards passing for 3 touchdowns in a rout of Oklahoma State. That was another odd game. Now, I didn't get to watch a lot of that game because I was busy at Flatlanders, which I hope everyone had a good time at Flatlanders that were there. But, that was a game where K-State was only up, I think, by like a score going in halfway through the second quarter and just blew the doors off of Okie State in the second half, 42-20. And really, it was probably just going to be 42-13, except for a garbage touchdown late. So the Cats really rebounded well after a tough showing at BYU, who, by the way, picked up another win against Baylor. A close one, but a win nonetheless. So that helps out K-State's deal. And Cats, by the way, up to number 20 in the most recent AP poll. Kansas, they dropped to 1-4. Another disappointing loss. They had a lead early over TCU, blew it. They are now 1-4. They've lost 4 straight, 38-27 loss. The sad part, which we'll get to that here in the losers a little bit, but man, that's a tough one there. Colorado, more about their defense than their offense. How about 4 takeaways for the Buffalo defense? That has been vastly improved over the last year. 4 takeaways as Colorado takes care of business and blows the doors off of UCF on the road. That's a big time win. Shadur Sanders for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns, but 48-21, a blowout win of UCF. That's a great win for Colorado. But once again, to me, it was the defense. The 4 turnovers forced on defense were the things that were absolutely that was the stuff that stood out to me the most, was that defense, the way the defense has looked better for Colorado this year. And then Dylan Raiola threw for 257 and a touchdown. Nebraska overcame a very poor first half. They were tied at 0 at the end of the first half. And then we're down 3-0, but outscored them 28-7 the rest of the way to get a win at Purdue. Not a pretty game, but got the job done, did Nebraska, in a much-needed road win there after a slow start. Okay, we got a few quick minutes before Nick Athen will join us from Chiefs Blitz. I want to get to the losers. I mentioned KU football, first and foremost, has to be probably another biggest loser. They've lost 4 straight. They only had 6 penalties for 50 yards, but they came at really bad times in that game. When open players are dropping passes and defense is blowing assignments, that accumulation of mistakes is just too much to overcome. That's the storyline of this season. There's really only one person you can blame for that, and that's Lance Leipold. If you've got guys that aren't, and his coaching staff, if they're not making the plays that they need to make offensively when they're there, and defensively giving up, blowing assignments, that kind of stuff, those mental mistakes, that's on the coaching staff for not getting that corrected. That is a problem. It is a problem. And I love Lance Leipold. I still think he's the best coach for the job. But that was not good. That was bad for KU. And then he also, the refs were not good either. And Leipold absolutely blasted them. And he said, they can find me for all I care. But they haven't been good in college football this whole season. The refs in the KU game, the Nebraska game, they were not good either. I mean, the refs had more penalty yards handed out than Purdue had offensive yards. The Virginia Tech Miami game, they had a Hail Mary that they called a touchdown, then reversed it really without being able to see it that great. The shortage of officials is starting to trickle upward, I guess, into what we have at the levels that it matters the most. So it was not good. But KU football, no doubt, a loser of the weekend. That is, there's a lot of things going bad. I think Lance Leipold's going to get corrected, but the one thing that stands out to me about the Leipold situation is, look, they've got a when you lose your offensive coordinator Andy Koltanecki, and Leipold had been good for all those years, I think pretty much because one of the biggest reasons is he had staff continuity. A lot of his staff was with him every step of the way throughout his time. And then he gets to here, and now other programs are starting to take his staff members because they're good, which is understandable. Then you have to find those guys to fill those holes. And I think they made probably a rough hire at the offensive coordinator spot. And that's one of the reasons why I think Kansas has struggled at this point in time. But they've got more issues than just offense at this point in time. They've got defensive issues as well. So KU football, no doubt a loser of the weekend. We talked about the Rockies possibly going to lose the weekend, 101 losses. Second straight season of doing that. That's a sad deal. It was a bad season for the Rockies. Chuck Nasty, Charlie Blackmon gone. A great, cool moment to see him run out in the field and take a standing ovation. That was great to see the fans honor him, his family throwing out the first pitch, his number put at center field. Very, very, very cool to see that for Charlie Blackmon. But Rockies have their second straight season of losing 100-plus games. That's a sad part for sure. And he was able to get a hit, too, as Jared said on the text. And that's true. And that was good for Charlie Blackmon. Got pulled after a single. But to me, the biggest losers in Major League Baseball are two teams, the Twins and the Diamondbacks. Both teams had/have a chance to make the postseason. Twins had a chance to make the postseason. They went 2-8 in their last 10 games. You can't make the postseason when you do that kind of stuff. And the D-backs, by the way, they need a miracle today because they won yesterday to salvage a series against the Pod, to salvage a game in a series against the Padres. The D-backs need a miracle today. They need both the Braves and the Mets, who have to play this doubleheader that was postponed due to the hurricane. They need both those. They need one of those teams to win both games. They need one of those teams to win both games. Whether the Braves win both or the Mets win both, you need that to happen. And as a Diamondback fan, me personally, I'm sitting thinking, boy, you better hope and pray that those teams really do hate each other like their fans say they do. Because can't you just see them kind of saying like, all right, you take game one and just kind of take it easy on us in game two and we'll both get into the playoffs. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, ready to break. I can totally see that happening. Totally see that happening in the bowels of the stadium there. So I just can absolutely see that happening. So the Royals need a miracle today. But yeah, that's I think the Twins and D-backs, certainly losers, had chances to be in the MLB postseason in this great race, but faltered in the end. And that's a problem. There you go. Weekend winners and losers. Once again, winners, Colby High School football, the Royals and Kalen DeBoer, your losers. Kansas football losing their fourth straight, and the D-backs and the Twins in the MLB wild card race. All right, it is right at the bottom of the hour, 7:31 Mountain, 8:31 Central Time. We're taking our first time out. We'll come back with Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz next. Boy, what are the Chiefs going to do? Lots of question marks going forward in that department. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Monday.
As a customer-owned cooperative, Midwest Energy members elect their board of directors. Ballots for this year's director election are in the mail and must be completed and returned by October 4th. Election results will be announced at our annual on Monday, October 21st, 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn in Hayes. We'll give away great door prizes, and all Midwest members are invited to attend. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Monday, September 30th, and on the overnights last night, December corn closed lower half cent at $4.17 and a half, March down 3/4 at $4.34 and a quarter, May down a half at $4.44 and a quarter, and July down 3/4 at $4.49 and 3/4. November soybeans down 7 3/4 on the overnight at 10.58. January down 7 at 10.76. March down 7 at 10.88 and a quarter, and May beans down 6 1/2 at $11. Chicago wheat, the December contract higher at 5 1/4 on the overnight at 5.85 and a quarter. March up 4 3/4 at 6.05. May up 4 3/4 at 6.16, and July up 4 3/4 at 6.21. Kansas City wheat, the December contract higher 5 cents at 5.81 3/4. March up 4 1/4 at 5.96. May up 4 cents at 6.05 1/4, and July up 4 1/4 at 6.11 1/2. On the stock market this morning, the Dow down $78 at 42,578. The S&P down 13 at 5,778. Gold lower $8.10 an ounce at 2,660, and crude oil up 20 cents a barrel at 68.37. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our caller Rob call John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Ball, or Tyler Dosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we are born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
When challenging conditions arise, we don't back down.
we up our game. Outpacing the competition with innovations fueled by Bayer's R&D, keeping you equipped with an expanded portfolio, elite genetics, and additional local test plots. Channel leads the field, so you can rise above. See how you can save at channel.com/finance24. Read pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
They're having one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. That's right, a hail sale where you can get massive savings on a new vehicle. For example, get a 23 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $20,000 off when you trade in eligible vehicle, now just over $37,000. A new 24 Chevy Tahoe RST, $13,000 off, now just over $59K. Plus 24 Chevy Traverse RS, $10,000 off, now just over $45,000. Plus many more. It's one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
The region's only local sports talk.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Hawks in that Kansas Lottery red zone. They're going to throw to the end zone. Luke Lim, does he get a toe down? We wait on a signal. Touchdown, Kansas.
Line, deep right field. 3-0 Royals on a bomb from Michael Massey in the first.
2-0 pitch to him is sent a long way to right field. This one is out of here. That hit the third deck, almost to the rooftop for Sam Hilliard.
Some more highlights from the weekend here on a Monday morning on the Morning Blitz. Waiting patiently in the green room to an extent is our good friend from Chiefs Blitz. That would be Nick Athen, who's kind enough to join us now. Good morning, Nick. How's it going today?
Good, Ross. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, I want to start. I know we're wearing a lot of red, and we have a lot of red in that picture, but I want to talk about the blue, the Royals making the postseason. How does that make you feel?
Man, it's electric. I mean, just to think that 2 7-game losing streaks in the month of September, and you come out the number 5 seed. It's just absolutely incredible. I mean, listen, I was doubting this team this week. I thought there's absolutely no way they can pull this off. They go into Washington and they just bury the Nationals in 3 games. And, you know, they got one in Atlanta. They could have had 2. But I'm telling you, this team is resilient. I don't think they care how they got in the playoffs. I don't think they care who they play. It's unfortunate they're going to Baltimore because these are the 2 best 1, 2, 3 pitchers in the American League as far as, you know, stacking up all the components. I think it would have been better to go to Houston. I don't think they have the starting pitching. But for the Royals, you know, Quatrero's done a tremendous job. John Sherman spent a ton of money, you know, putting this team together. And, you know, they never got down on themselves, even though the fans did. And, you know, I'll raise my hand. I was too. They kind of put it together. And I think they have a great chance to beat the Orioles. I think there are 2 guys. I think Massey is the linchpin. I really think he's the key. The way he can hit home runs, the way he can get on base, he's got some confidence. That 3-run home run yesterday was huge for him. He's just kind of a spark plug that people don't talk about enough. And then can Bobby Witt Jr. step up and just be that October guy that we've seen so much from, you know, Georgia Brett through the years. So that's going to be fascinating to watch.
No, it'll be absolutely. And I don't know. We're going to find out a lot. If you're not able to score as many runs as you hope you can, you know, it's going to be hard to win in the postseason. You got to put up some runs, and that have to do it against really good pitching as well. So, like you said, that'll be the fascinating thing to watch here. Once again, the Royals will begin the postseason. That is tomorrow with Game 1 in Baltimore for a best-of-3 series. Nick Athen is our guest from our friends at Chiefs Blitz. Boy, it's a rough Monday morning if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Yes, you got the win, and that's great. But friendly fire from Patrick Mahomes knocked out his number 1 wide receiver. Rashee Rice sounds like he could be done for the season. Where does Kansas City go from here in the wide receiver room, even in the tight end room as well?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I mean, you can't replace the Rashee Rice numbers unless you go out and get a, you know, a DeAndre Hopkins or a Dante Johnson. You know, Amari Cooper is a popular name right now, too, if we're talking trade. But, you know, what does he have left? He hates it in Cleveland. His salary is, you know, only $1.5 million for this year. So I don't know. I mean, Nico Remigio was that guy in camp, and he just struggled, you know, when it came to playing in games. Justin Ross is on the practice squad as well. You know, he's he's not a guy. Sky Moore clearly doesn't have it. I mean, I posted in my article this morning at ChiefsBlitz.com that I thought the 2023 receiver class was better, than the 2024 class we currently have. And, where's it going to come from? Travis Kelce showed up yesterday, which is great. Xavier Worthy showed both styles, the bomb, they caught one-handed basically. I don't know. Not enough people are talking about how difficult that catch was when he had somebody pulling on his arm. And then twice he got the crossing routes for first downs, including the big one at the end of the game where he ran a Rashee Rice route. So if he can be counted on to do those kinds of things, that's great. But he's not a middle of the field receiver. And that's the problem. That they don't have that. Juju Smith-Schuster could be the guy. He was 2 years ago, but he really hasn't clicked in this offense yet, but he also hasn't been the focal point. He's going to have to really step up right now. He's probably the key to at least, doing some of the Rashee Rice things, but it's so unfortunate. The friendly fire, Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw the interceptions, then that play doesn't happen. And that's just been the Chiefs' case this year. They've just put themselves in situations where, the mistake compounds into another mistake and it turns into tragedy. And it's just unfortunate. But hey, Ross, they're 4-0. They're still the best team in the AFC. They find a way to win. They know how to win. It doesn't matter. I mean, what Mahomes is 11-0 when he's down 10 points in a game. It's just, it's not even, it's so baffling to me that how good they become. And it's all because of the defense. Let's just be honest. The Chiefs defense is probably one of the top 2 or 3 in the NFL right now. Chris Jones was a man beast. Drew Tranquil was a beast. I thought the secondary played one of their better games of the season. Spags was dialing up blitzes. The Chiefs will go as far as the defense takes them, and obviously it took them to a Super Bowl win last year.
That was actually going to be my next question I had for you. When did the Chiefs go from being the offensive juggernaut to now the defensive first team? When did that happen?
It kind of happened. It happened it happened during the run with the in the Eagles Super Bowl. Like this last half of the season, the defense really started to click. And then last year, from the opening bell, when they lost to the Detroit Lions 21-20, they played lights out all season. They had one bad game, which was at Denver, where the offense had 5 turnovers or 4 turnovers. So they put the Chiefs, they put the defense in terrible situations yesterday. They gave up 10 points on 2 turnovers. You take those turnovers away, and it's Chiefs are pitching a shutout today. Maybe Rice doesn't get hurt. But again, maybe something else happens in the game because Rice, who knows? The NFL gods are really unpredictable. And, Steve Spagnuolo has not gotten a whiff of any interest to become a head coach again from any team. I think that's crazy. He's an incredible defensive mind. He's the top paid defensive coordinator. And he's got Chris Jones and Drew Tranquil, and he's got these young corners, and he's got these safeties, and he's got these, defensive linemen. Look at, Felix yesterday. He played really, really well. He didn't get a sack, but here's a guy that, gets drafted by, out of Kansas State last year, does nothing. And all of a sudden, hey, Mike Dana's not here. You got to go in and play. And he just gets guys to step up and play. And it's interesting with Spags, and I think this is why this team is so great defensively. It takes them a drive to kind of adjust because most teams that they face, and you saw it with the Falcons and you saw it with the Chargers, this is the offense we're going to run for the rest of the game. They didn't alter their game plan. They didn't change anything up to where there was a lot of confusion that they can create for the Chiefs defense. They saw their best and they adjusted. And clearly pitching a shutout after going, giving up 10 points in the first quarter was key.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me. Is Chris Jones the best player defensively in the NFL?
Yeah, right now I would say there's no question. I mean, he's just a game wrecker. All 4 wins, he made key plays. He made key plays in the fourth quarter when he was gassed. He just has a motor. And this is why you make him the highest paid, defensive lineman in NFL history, because in the fourth quarter on the last drive or in overtime, he's going to get the pressure, or he's going to get a sack. Now, the Chargers had a terrible game plan yesterday. They had tight end. He was being blocked by tight ends. On the last sack on Herbert, that's exactly what they did. They put a tight end out there. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. I love him to death. He's going to win a Super Bowl in Los Angeles. I guarantee he will, in the next 5 years, probably win a Super Bowl because that's his DNA. But he learned a lot about coaching in the NFL yesterday against Andy Reid and what you can and can't do. He made some big mistakes that cost the Chargers. And Chris Jones took advantage of all that. And that's why you pay him the big bucks. And because of this defense, the Chiefs are 4-0. And because of this defense, they're never going to be out of a game.
Nick Athen is our guest from Chiefs Blitz, joining us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. I thought someone who also had a pretty good game in the absence of Rashee Rice was Noah Gray. Yeah. Noah Gray came out and played very well. How much could a 2 tight end look help the offense going forward if Rashee Rice is unable to make it back this season?
You make a great point, Ross. I mean, that's a middle of the field guy. And they have a lot of confidence in Noah Gray. They signed him to a 3-year extension right before opening day or on opening day. He doesn't drop the ball. He gets open. He can block. You got it. The middle of the field now is going to have to be a combination of several guys. Excuse me. And Noah Gray is definitely one of those guys. Jared Wiley, the rookie from TCU. He's going to have to play more. He's going to have to get more reps. If they don't trade for a receiver, let's say they bring up Nico Remigio from the practice squad, still, who's going to be that middle guy? So they're going to have to shift the offense. They're going to have to go to more 2 tight end sets. They're going to wake up and start double teaming Worthy a little bit more now. But, if Worthy can learn how to do those over the middle of the field, playing in the slot catches like Rice did, then the Chiefs can survive this. But it's not going to be easy.
No, it won't be. We'll see how it all goes. We're visiting with Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz. The Denver Broncos pull out a win yesterday in New York. How they did it, I don't know, but it was kind of a miracle. You talk about a defensive kind of a quagmire right there. That was one of those type of games up there in the Middle Arc area. So, man, boy, I don't know I know you're not a huge fan of Bo Nix early on, but you got to give Denver credit. They've found ways to win 2 games that I don't know if they should have.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Sean Payton. I mean, his defense is really good. Now the Jets are probably the worst coached team in the NFL. Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers are like just volcano and volcano. They just don't mix. They never have. It was never going to be a good fit. That's a problem. Rodgers was dissing his coach. He's done it several times in both losses. They're reeling. Rodgers made the interesting part about that game, and I watched a lot of it, is Rodgers made some incredible throws. He was far more mobile than I'd seen him in a long time. But that Broncos defense is so good. They're so well coached. They don't have a lot of superstars. Patrick Surtain is the only first-round pick they have on the defensive side of the ball. They don't have another first-round pick. Think about that. And yet they put together this incredible, defense.
Well, they lost their starting middle linebacker to an injury. Singleton, they had even their caller was not even in the game yesterday.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and it's just listen. Like I said earlier, the NFL gods, man, they got a plan. We don't know what it is. We don't know what's going to happen. But it's the same when you look at the Washington Commanders. I mean, they have the best quarterback in the NFL right now. As far as playing goes, this kid is absolutely and we predicted it at Chiefs Blitz. I was shocked he didn't go number 1. But he went to the wrong team. He never would have survived. And the only reason Cliff Kingsbury, the Commanders' offensive coordinator, didn't go to Chicago is because, they weren't going to draft, their guy. He wanted Daniels. So he goes to the Commanders and takes that job. And he's done a terrific job. He'll be in the NFL as a head coach next year again if he continues to do what he's doing with this young kid. But they're the best team in the NFC East. They're the best team in the NFC. Maybe obviously the Vikings and Darnold are just playing lights out. And God, I love that kid, man. He's been through everything. But man, the NFL is that was some crazy stuff yesterday. the Panthers. I mean, they should have beat the Bengals yesterday.
Right.
They're first and goal at the 3-yard line, and they stall. And at the end of the second and first half, it's a do or die. It's touchdown or the time runs out. And the guy misses a tackle. It's in the Ravens last night. You got one job to do if you're the Buffalo Bills defense. You stop one guy. That's it. You don't have to worry about Jackson. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You can't let King Henry go out there and just maul you. And, it just goes to show you that the NFL is unpredictable any given Sunday. But, it's just, this is fun. I mean, this is what we live for.
Yeah, who would you say has been the most surprising team, whether it's good or bad, through these first 4 games? I mean, I guess mine would probably be the Commanders at this point in time because of the play of Jaden Daniels. But who stands out to you as that most surprising team, either good or bad?
Oh boy, that's a good question. This might surprise you a little bit. I think the Houston Texans are a little bit of a surprise to me, only because, they're 3-1, but they're really, really fortunate to be 3-1. I mean, they have gone through spurts and games, kind of like the Chiefs, and they're learning and they're finding ways to win. I think that's kind of, they just don't look right. There's something missing, and it's probably the sophomore blues, but they're still the best team in that division. But to me, Jacksonville Jaguars are the biggest shock. 0-4. Trevor Lawrence has lost 9-10 straight games.
Yeah, 9 straight. Yep.
Yeah, Doug Peterson is the guy who just he'll get you to a level, and then luck has to happen for him to be successful, as he was with Philadelphia when he guided them to a Super Bowl thanks to the trick play with Nick Foles. But those are the shockers. On the NFC side, the fact that the Cowboys are so disoriented as a franchise.
It's combobulated.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Jerry Jones is great for the NFL. He makes them a lot of money, but he's put his money in the wrong places. And Dak's not the guy. CeeDee Lamb is one of the best receivers in the National Football League, no question. And it just seems like it's a team that just wants to get paid and they don't want to win anything. They have the wrong head coach. Will Bill Belichick come out of the TV booth to go coach the Cowboys? Maybe, but they're the biggest disappointment. Again, I'm not a Dak guy, but they should have a better record. They should be playing at a higher level because they have an incredible amount of talent.
Yeah, all fascinating stuff. Yeah, we'll just see what the NFL gods have in store for us coming up here in week number 5. Or I guess we still got to finish out week 4 here tonight with a doubleheader, which I do not get the Monday Night Football doubleheader. I don't know what is up with this. I hope it's the last week.
More games, the better. But I would spread it out about an hour and a half to where at least the second half is clear.
There you go. Yeah, makes sense.
That's how I would do it. But Roger Goodell does nothing unless you make money.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And I think it's great. I think it's really good for the game. I like to see, because that gives more cities more opportunities. The ratings last week for the doubleheader were through the roof. I mean, they carried 17, 18 million fans from one game to the next. That's impressive. It gives the NFL 6 hours of primetime viewing on Monday night. They're already playing Sunday night. They're going to start playing in Europe next weekend. You've got the Thursday night games. This year you got a Wednesday game and you got a Friday game. And it's just like, at some point the NFL will be on every day of the week.
No, my God.
Given it will happen because somebody will say, well, you know what? Maybe we need a midweek game for two teams that are in the bye. And they schedule it out to where they don't get a full 2 weeks. They get a week and a half. And they do a Wednesday thing, or they do a Friday primetime, and they say, "Hey, we're not going to worry about high school football." There's always been this thing: you don't compete on Friday nights, against high school football because it is the most popular aspect in this country as far as fans participating in any sport is watching Friday Night Lights across the country because there's so many high schools out there, and even college doesn't do a whole lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all going to change as long as the NFL keeps making money. And the fans can complain all they want to, but hey, if I only have to rest for 2 days a week versus 3 or 4, not watching NFL football, count me in.
He is Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz. Thank you so much, Nick, for the time. Have a great week. We'll catch up again next Monday.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you then.
Once again, great stuff there from Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz here on the Morning Blitz. Okay, let's get to a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap the show with the leftovers next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Monday.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Miss the weekend action?
Yes, you caught me.
No worries. We've got all the highlights and lowlights covered.
Hey, okay, well, catch me up.
This is the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
As always, thank you, Nick Athen, for stopping by the program. Always good stuff with him on the NFL. A little bit about the Royals as well as they get their postseason started for the first time in 9 years. Coming up here on Tuesday. On to the leftovers here on the Morning Blitz. We wrap up the show with about a couple minutes left. Colby Community College volleyball, another win on Saturday. They takes 4, but they win in 4 over Garden City Community College. They're now 16-2 on the season and 6-1 in Jayhawk League play going into a match down at Hutchinson on Wednesday. We talked about the Broncos a little bit with Nick Athen, but the Broncos win a game that really nobody wanted to win. A couple of missed field goals at the end by Lutz and by Greg Zerline. And the Broncos hold on to get the win. You know, Bo Nix, has 60 yards passing in the game, but they still find a way to get a win because the defense is just so great. It's a defensive team is what that Broncos team is, and that's how they're going to win games is by holding opponents to just minuscule points and hoping that Bo Nix finds his footing as the season progresses on because Bo is struggling right now. Weather wasn't great, didn't cooperate great. But Bo Nix did have his first passing touchdown, found Cortland Sutton in the back of the end zone for a touchdown there. So that was good. Let's see. Did we miss anything else here on the Morning Blitz? I don't believe so. I think that's pretty much everything. Got to pretty much everything here on this Monday. Like I said, a very interesting doubleheader today in Major League Baseball. Mets and Braves doubleheader. If they split, they're both in. If one wins both games, that team that wins both games are in. And then the Diamondbacks get in. And so there's just one more day of baseball before the postseason begins, and we'll find out who gets it done. We'll find out. We'll see. Diamondbacks have to sit there and watch, and boy, that's a bad position to be in. That is absolutely for sure.
A 3-run walk-off home run, a game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's go.
Getting to the walk-off where we have an update on picks. It was another rough weekend for your boy, just going 2-4 on his 6 picks of the weekend. I had Okie at Kansas State under 57.5. Wrong. How about KU versus TCU? KU covers the 1.5. Wrong. Lose that game by 11. Nebraska goes to Purdue. Purdue covers the 10. Wrong. Colorado UCF over 61.5. Hey, got a win. Jets at Denver over the 39.5. Way wrong. And then KC at the Chargers. KC does cover the 7 to get the win. So a bad weekend. 2-4 last week. We're 7-18-1 overall. My gosh, it's getting out of hand. Got to get back on the course. It's not been good whatsoever. That is for sure. No local sports tonight. Kind of a quiet night. Like I said, a couple of Monday night football doubleheaders. You got Titans at Dolphins. Oh my gosh, that'll be awful. Followed by the Seahawks and the Lions. That could be good. Seahawks have a great defense. They're 3-0. The Lions, of course, we know is a team that I picked, I think, to go to the Super Bowl. So I think that should be a good game. But another Monday night doubleheader. I'm not with Nick. I'd rather just have one game, but I get it. If you love it, and you got to have a lot of it, then I guess you have to. Thanks again to Nick Athen. Thanks again to you for listening. We're back again tomorrow in 23 hours for a Tuesday edition of the Morning Blitz. We will see you then. Have a good rest of your Monday.
This is Rockin' 102.